Hello, I'm Gus Downing, and today we're in Los Angeles. And we're attending the Los Angeles Area Organized Retail Crime Association's 3rd annual conference. And we have with us today the 3 leaders of that conference and association, and Joe LaRocca, Senior Advisor to the retail industry and to the National Retail Federation. Next to him, we have Captain Bill Williams, the co-chair for the law enforcement group for Orca. And next to him, we have Kent Oda, Senior Detective, the actual Orca coordinator. And next to him, we have George Torres, the retail co-chair for Orca, that it represents CVS, the ORC Investigations Department. So with that, I'd like to share with you the objective of today's session, to provide the retail LP community with the background, history, and success of the Orca program, and to hopefully motivate LP executives in other cities to get involved with their programs, or even to go out and help establish some where they're non-existent. By sharing Orca's model and structure, we can hopefully give them an example to follow that will help them grow and develop more programs like it. This discussion is all about increasing awareness on a national scale and educating the retail LP community so that we're building the right models that increases our ability to respond and resolve the ORC problems in America. With that, I'd like to open it up with the first question to Captain Williams. Captain, could you give us a brief history of the program, how it got started, where it is today, and how is it going for you?
Yeah, thank you. Well, go back a couple years. Former Chief of Police, Bill Bratton, came to me and he indicated that he wanted us to improve our relationships with various retailers. And in particular, we looked at the Target Corporation. And what my responsibility would be to go through the entire city, and there were 4 properties that Target had that wanted us to work with them in dealing with reducing crime, environmental issues. And so we identified the 4 police stations that were involved, and we decided to meet quarterly to look at issues, address crime problems, and we would set goals, and then we'd come back and discuss those. After about a year, we were able to resolve the issues that were of concern to the Target Corporation and to the area captains of the 4 stations. And we just looked and said, what are we going to do to improve on what we've started? And so we said that we have to look at what this thing, organized crime, organized retail crime. And we identified 7 stakeholders, if you will, that were from the LP leadership of the various retailers. They were from Target, they were from Gap, they were from JCPenney, they were from Home Depot, and others. And we got in a room and we said, what can we do? We were also informed that there was a program that had been started out in Albuquerque, New Mexico, called ARAPA.
The year before,
well, actually, I think several years before.
Okay.
And so we went down there and we looked at their program and we brought some of their tools back here to Los Angeles, and we said, well, let's start from there and then let's build upon that and utilize their website technology for a tool for us to use here in Los Angeles. So we did that, and that's how we started. The basis of Orca is we have to work in partnership to address this ORC problem, law enforcement and the retailers. And we also have to have a command emphasis, at least from my perspective, from the police department and from the retailers, that we can work together. Then you bring the technology in, and also now you have to have the foot soldiers, the police officers, the LP agents working to address those crimes. And if we work together, that synergy is our belief that helps us deal with this scourge, because ORC is a scourge. What are we doing now? This, as you said, is our 3rd year. And each year we want to look at how can we improve, how can we build upon this foundation in which we've set up. And so we always are tweaking and looking at. We start with our, as I said, with our website, which is real-time information that's being brought out to our retailers and law enforcement, and then also how we can communicate with other agencies. And the thing is, in LA, this is not a Los Angeles Police Department issue. This is a regional issue. So that's why we called it the Los Angeles Area Organized Retail Crime Association, not the Los Angeles Police, Los Angeles area. And so I think with that, that's how we got this thing started.
You know, can you give us a sense of the size of the problem here in Southern California for ORC, the magnitude of it that the retailers face? Can you give us a sense of the size of the problem?
I'll start, and I think Kent and George will really want to delve in there too. But when you look at it, when you look at the NRF information, LA is always in the number 1 or 2 place. And so that is significant in terms of when you talk about $35 billion of thefts going around nationwide, but LA is right there in the top. So LA and our region is significant, and we have to put resources there. But I think Kent can address that, or George.
Well, I can also add exactly what the captain said. Through NRF, LA being the most activity here in Los Angeles, we have a lot of organized illicit groups come through using LA as many live here. They use it as passing through to other states, through other communities. As you know, we have the Port of Los Angeles here. We have a lot of businesses from small to large. We have the garment district here. Santee Alley is known throughout. We have some areas within the city of Los Angeles that are home to many of these illicit groups or crews that actually target the stores in boosting product. And I'll turn that over to George. Many of his investigations, I know from CVS, work directly with that.
Thanks, Ken. Just to give you an example of a group that we worked on recently with the Los Angeles Police Department and my partner up north, Debbie Lanford. This particular group was based out of Burbank, which is about 10 miles from where we're at today. And this particular group, although they lived in Burbank, they would travel from Burbank all the way up in through Sacramento, up into Chico, and almost at the border of Oregon. And then they would come back down and go all the way down to the San Diego border. And then they would also go into Las Vegas and Arizona and other states. And then they'd come back home to Burbank and fence off the product, all along hitting CVS stores and other chains, I'm assuming, to make a living. So just from that example, there are multiple crews out there that do the same type of, are involved with the same type of activity.
How much does the border play in here, being close to the border of Mexico? I mean, is that an ingredient that increases ORC activity, in your opinions?
You know, I don't know if it's that significant. What we do have some groups that come up from Central America that are involved in a lot of thefts. I don't want to put it on any particular ethnicity, but the group we have groups coming up from Central America that are involved in a lot of theft activities. And then also when you look at other things relative to terrorism, groups are utilizing some of the funds that they gain from these thefts involved in terrorism. And we work in partnership with our Major Crimes Division, which deals with terrorism issues, and they're part of Orca also.
Any idea of the amount of that goes to terrorism, even with some of the current press coverage on it? Do you have any opinion there?
In terms of percentages, I don't have that, but I think from talking with the resources there, there is quite a bit of money. We're getting to the millions of dollars.
Can you give us a picture of the typical ORC crew? You know, what do they steal? What do they hit? How do they unload it? You know, what portion of it goes online for sale? What portion of it goes into the little C-store down the street, or the pawn shop, or what portion is just sold to their friends and buddies? Can you kind of break that down a little bit? It's kind of a two-part question.
George?
I guess from experience in working some of these crews, it's kind of hard to put a percentage of what goes to a pawn shop or what goes to a mom and pop store. But what I can tell you is that they utilize different methods to fence off the product. A typical crew would be anywhere from 2 to 5 people, sometimes maybe even 7. And each individual has a certain role within that crew. One can be a driver, one can be a lookout, one can be actually the person that carries the product out. Another one can be the supervisor who's pointing out what type of product the others need to be taking. So there's different roles that each of these crew members play. And now, as far as liquidating the product that they steal, it can come in different forms. It can be where they simply take the product to a middleman who will then pay them a lump sum of money, where that middleman sells it to the next person, to the next person, to the next person, and eventually, it makes its rounds. You also have flea markets. You have the online method. You also have the mom and pop stores, and sometimes they'll even sell the product out of the back of their trunk. Whatever way they can, as fast as they can liquidate that product, they can think of, and they'll do it.